Hi, this is Anne Marie, and thank you so much for joining on this blustery day in the Midwest. And I hear in the Dakotas where Bill is, who graciously does our video and sound engineering here. Today's guest is Joseph Bridge, and also goes by Joseph Light. Oh gosh, what is it again, Joseph? Lantern Bearer.
Um, I'm Joseph Grick, and I
Grit,
sometimes
grit. I always say
I
Grinch.
go by Joseph the Lantern Bearer. Um, and I chose the Lantern Bearer because I consider myself to be somebody who might be able to shine some light on the path you're on. And that's why I chose that for tarot readings, you know.
Yep, that
Just
sounds
call me
good to
Joe.
me.
Just call me Joe. So, or Joseph, either one is fine.
Today
So
I
how
thought we would just, I'm doing good, and since now is this weekend the one that's Easter?
um Easter is this Sunday, isn't it?
I think so. So
Okay,
I
so
thought
this is
today
this is Easter
I
week, I guess.
yeah, so I thought that maybe we would discuss some maybe yummy recipes for breakfast. You discussed something like that last time on the show. And also, mine is just like, actually, it's more brunch. I think Easter brunch is the traditional, where it's kind of between breakfast and lunch.
I like
And
that.
yeah, I do too. I like that a lot. It seems very French.
It's very
And
cosmopolitan.
it's very cosmopolitan. Is that what you said?
It just seems very cosmopolitan. We're having brunch,
Yes.
and I
Yes, we're
like
having
that.
brunch.
I like that. I like to have
Yes.
brunch. Yeah.
And I was also going to bring up this subject about since Easter is all about rebirth, and for, of course, the Christian faith, it's about the rebirth of Jesus. And but taking it to a more spiritual level, I just thought maybe I would discuss the topic. We could discuss the topic of restarting your life after a tragedy, restarting your life after you feel like you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, and maybe thinking of ways that we can better that and get ourselves on track again. So
hmm
maybe we would like to discuss that as well. What do you think, Joe?
Oh, I think that's perfectly fine. And actually, I was just thinking about something like that. Um, I want to point out to people that, you might know somebody who has lost their home or is on the verge of losing their home, and you might be really good friends, and you've said things like, "Let me know if you need anything." And and when I hear that, I want to point out to anybody who has friends or family that is in a bad situation like that, they're not going to say, "Help me." Usually, they're not going to. Not unless they have children involved. Then there's a lot of things that a parent will, you'll lose your
Yes.
pride for to protect your children. But if it's you, um, a lot of things will happen to these people. Once I want to point out, once they lose their address, they're not going to get a job again. You understand that? If you don't have an address, it makes things really, very hard. And so it's very difficult to get back what you had once you are out of that structure. Once you lose that apartment and lose that address and you lose all the conveniences of home, it is very difficult for these people to get back up again. And I want to stress that. This business of saying, let me know if you need anything, that's great. You want to know how they're doing, go over there. You see what they're doing, and you just help them. Don't don't wait for them to come to you, because they probably won't. And next thing you know, you stop hearing about them and you don't know where they are. Okay? And so that's something I want to point out about getting yourself
That's
back up.
very very powerful to me right now, Joseph, because I just had a very good friend who has an antique shop in my local town close by. She's kind of like an old hippie, and her husband is, awesome. And they have like 4 stories of antiques. And their farmhouse burned down along with their 2 dogs, died in the fire. Fortunately, they didn't have any children there. But, that is exactly what I said, Joseph. Let me know if there's anything I can help with. And you know what? They didn't answer me. And
No.
thank you for saying that, because that is, I shouldn't have said that, should I have?
Well, no, everybody has said that. You know what I'm saying? That's not, your intentions are so good here, and my intentions when I say that are also, I mean, we really do want to help. I mean, we said so. If you need help, let me know. But the thing is, they're not going to do that. They're not going to come to you. And because
And
there's
I'm finding that out.
a matter of pride, and I tell you, you tell people swallow that pride, but it's really hard to do. It is really hard to do, to be a grown up or to be middle aged grown up or even older than that. And maybe you had your act together for your whole life, and now everything has gone out the window, and people are saying, well, let me know if you need help. Okay, but then they don't really want to ask you for help. And and we hear about
Right.
people found frozen somewhere, or worse, there's all sorts of things. And people say, well, didn't they have any friends? I can't believe anybody just let this person just starve or live like this. Why did they, how did, we're not talking about maybe somebody who had an addiction. We're talking about just a person who has always lived well, has always taken care of themselves, and all of a sudden they don't have a home. And people think, well, there are services for that, and there's financial help they could get. You cannot get that kind of help the way people think you can get it. And I will say, if you have children, you'll get some help. Okay. But for other people, there is no help. Okay. And they need the support of their friends and those who love them, because I believe that sometimes there's a period in life where if you don't get assist to get you through an extremely difficult time, one that you've never even foreseen happening, many times if you can get through that, you'll be able to be there to watch the karma turn around, okay, and start handing you things back. I mean, the things, all the good you've done, sometimes it does return to you if you can hang on for that. Sometimes circumstances just take people, and they're not around to ever receive that good back. And the karma that they would get back would be, if you can help this person get through this time. I don't mean take them on and be their parent or anything. I mean, like, if you can get them through this somehow, either physically or with some assist of some kind, and if, because they're trying. I'm not talking about lazy people. We've always had those. Lately in this country, I mean, I'm redundant to even tell you this, but we have a serious problem with homelessness, and it's the more recent homelessness in the past, say, 10 years,
During
that
the
these
financial
people.
crash when people
Yes,
lost their
yes, and
homes.
then
And you
other.
can see them all over when I go to Oregon, or when I go to even Omaha, where closer I'm at, the bigger
Mhm.
cities. They're on corners everywhere. They have signs, and you're going, I was never aware that there were this many homeless people. But then also a lot of those are POWs, I think. But
Yeah.
I think also there are people that were through the financial crash. Hopefully, by
And
now, they have
there are those
found
people.
themselves.
There are the people that are not out there holding up a sign. They are not out there asking for money. They are not out there begging. They're just quietly slipping down a hole. Okay, because they're too humiliated and they're too embarrassed. They don't have the nerve to go into the street to ask people for money. They don't have that nerve because it's very scary to do that. How do you know how people react to you? People, how even the feeling you have if you're approached by somebody.
I've lived
Who,
on the streets before, Joseph. I
yeah,
know.
but it's very difficult. You know that. I mean,
Mm.
I never have. I have been very fortunate that I have never had to do that. And I've always considered myself fortunate that I don't know anybody who's in that situation, at least not that I know of, you know. Um, but
And you know
you can
what?
imagine
I
how
feel I
difficult it
feel
must be though to approach a stranger and say, "Look, can you spare any change or anything?" And people hear that a lot because there are some people that have been doing this game for a long time. Okay.
yeah,
And I've been
yeah.
approached by those. But you see, but now the game has changed. And then we have a lot of people that really did not want to end up this way. And they have tried so hard not to. And to the average person who's working their 40 hours, and actually there's a lot of people who really didn't feel any sort of a crunch at all, because I mean maybe their insurance went up or down or something, or maybe they lost a couple of benefits, but they still have their jobs. The thing is, if you don't have credentials for some higher position, and if you're just the average person who has a job because you didn't have that many opportunities, but it was always easy to get some kind of job. Well, now we don't even have that. We don't have factories to hire students when they're on college breaks like they did when I was a kid. I mean, if you wanted to make money really fast, yeah, you get a job at a factory for a few months and you're set. You know, we don't have stuff like
Right.
that anymore to help anybody. We don't even have things available so people can, grab an opportunity. It's just too much of it. So I want to stress, really, if you know somebody who's just having I didn't want to get off on it the way I did here, but I will say that if you do know somebody in a situation like that, really do more than just say, hey, if you need anything, let me know. They're probably
And
not
I'm
going to
going
tell
to
you.
thank you, Joseph. You were
Yeah.
exactly what I needed, and now I'm going to do that because she has not responded. And I thought, oh, that's weird. And
Yeah.
you're right. When people go through, it's amazing. It's just like when you know someone that has an unexpected partner that died, or you go through, or they've gone through a tragedy, like
Hmm.
you're saying. Oftentimes, people will say, "Let me know if there's anything I can do to help," which they
Yeah.
won't,
Yeah.
and they just quietly suffer.
Hmm.
And so you're right. But I would like to go from here into how to jumpstart your life. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. How do
All
you
right. Huh?
jumpstart?
Okay. So it says there sometimes comes a time, when we decide to take a new path, hopefully a path for the better. And restarting your life, especially if you've had some really tough times, can seem almost impossible.
Hmm.
But it is possible. Get more information on how by this discussion. So when we look at the steps for being able to help ourselves, and it's the first step is when this little arrow will cooperate with me. Um, well, first of all, you know, this one just irritates the hell out of me. I'm not even. It's already starting to discourage me because it says you have to find a creative outlet.
Oh
So the
dear.
most important, and remember that has nothing to do. And obviously, the person that did this article probably did not ever find themselves on the road or on this situation. But first of all, accept yourself fully for who you are. This step is very hard because you
Yeah.
have to try. Say, I'm going to make it. I love me for me in every way. Now, let's say that this is not the crisis of losing our home. I was actually feeling that this was more a crisis in case of our self-identity or
Hmm.
something like that. But you brought a much more serious slant into what I was intending. Okay, Joseph. In front of the mirror, 10 times a day, it may seem silly, but tell yourself I can do this. Think of
Uh,
things you love about yourself and say it aloud. I am a great whatever. I am an awesome cook. I am whatever it is that makes you feel that you have something to offer. And now understand this next one that I said I really do not like. I-
okay.
Um, I really feel our posture says everything, including getting breaks, being able to walk, keep your chakras straight, walking tall, walking with pride. There's an old term that says when you feel down and out, why is it people pick on you worse? I think it's because it seems to be in the animal kingdom some survival thing where people think they have to obliterate people that do not have, or even other animals that seem to be wounded. So being able to walk with your head up if possible, keeping your confidence, making sure you smile and not look like you're in desperation row is something that people go, wow, I want to know that person, or I want to help that person because
Hmm.
they look like they do something with what I have to offer them. Whereas somebody that looks totally depressed is more likely to get the worst case scenario. Would you agree with that?
Unfortunately, that is true.
It
That is
is.
true, but it's unfortunate
It is
because,
sad.
yeah, that you have to pretend to be a cheerful person in order to look like you have some hope. When people say be positive, actually, I was kind of cringe when I hear that someone say that. It's like what you're really saying is
Fake it.
behave in a more positive way. How could you possibly feel great about? I mean, it takes a lot to psych yourself up, especially if you're in a situation like that. And and just giving somebody that advice who is, say, who has who's really down and out. I'm almost sometimes afraid to say
I
something
would I
like
would never
that.
give someone that advice, but I can tell you this. Is it any different than hating somebody's guts
Mhm.
and having to fake it? Knowing that you have two choices, you can punch them out, or you can walk the other way, or you can spit in their face, or you can smile and do the best you can. you know Faking it is part of being human, I think.
Yeah. Well,
And unfortunately,
controlling your behavior is part of being
control
human.
being yeah. And a
That's
lot
what our
of that.
childhoods are for. We have our childhoods so that we could learn what not to do and what to do, and we could learn about how we affect other people. When we're a child, we don't always realize the effect we have on other people. And oh my goodness, I don't want to relive my childhood. I know I was not perfect, and actually nobody around me was, but it was a good place to be, and I have a good family. We all grew up, and we've all. I would say we have all developed a great compassion toward others because we were surrounded by each other all the time. And like I always say, that's when we learn how to forgive, and because we are forgiven every day. Um, uh, the I'm sorry, I got off track. I just um,
That's okay. That's okay.
what was the
Here's
question
another
again?
thing.
What was I
Here's another one. Here's another one. Um, Did you ever see that movie about Will? What's his name? He's a guy who's lost everything, and he has a son, and he ends up living in a depot. But his dream is to work on Wall Street,
Mm,
and he lives in a bathroom with his son, dressed in suits, which he has a way of cleaning up every day or washing to make himself look better. But this one says, clean yourself up. Don't allow the
yeah.
depression to make you smell and to suddenly decide that you're going to quit brushing your hair. It is weird, but I know, if I don't know about you, but when I look in the mirror and I see I have a good hair day, or I see that I have a little better look that day, or I don't
Mhm.
seem like what's really horrifying is when I feel crappy and I look in the mirror and there's this face looking back at me that I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I'm always thinking I look a certain way and I'm a cheerful person. But then I catch that look and I'm going, oh, wow. Is that how I look when
I
people
catch
see me?
I catch the old man look when I look at myself sometimes. You know, I see, well, there's this, it surprises me at times, even with photos, and I think, oh man, I just really wasn't aware that I was getting older, really. I mean, I just really wasn't. But because I have a lousy concept of time, and I think maybe part of that keeps me from getting too old because I'm never really quite sure what day it is sometimes, or what year it is. I get very involved in things when I do creative work, and when I working on a project, I get so involved, I'm not aware of time passing, and I could be involved with something for months, and the world around me has gone on, and I used to have a,
It's
I
called
had a
it's
dream.
being an entrepreneur. It's being
Well,
an entrepreneur.
yes, and I had a dream once where I ran into a fellow I knew in school, and but he looked too young to be him. And I said, "Oh, well, you must be his younger brother." And he said, "No, I'm his grandson." And I, but that didn't happen in reality. But it was a little mental reminder to myself that you know what, everything is moving on, and you're not. You're stuck on your project, and that's fine because I wanted to do the project. But you know, the thing is, and gee, I lost touch. I could lose touch with people growing up. I mean, I have nephews and nieces that have become adults and have their children. And I have never really spent a lot of time with them when they were babies. You know, it just seemed to happen when I wasn't looking, and so
I
that's
do
kind
want
of
to
how
reach
the
out real quick. Want to reach out real quick to Kathy from Canada and Marie from
sure.
Pennsylvania that are in our call room. We will get to you in a second. So I guess ultimately what we have decided here is A, if you know someone that's lost their home or has had a death in the family or whatever there is that has devastated them, for Pete's sake, don't say, how can I help? And then walk away
Just do it.
because you know they're probably not going to come and ask you for help. Get
Yeah.
out there, reach out, do something that will help them. The other
Hmm.
thing is, if you're going through a bad time, if you need to jumpstart your life, unfortunately, sometimes you have to fake it. Sometimes, even though you feel like crap, you have to you have to brush your teeth. You have to put some clean clothes on. You
Hmm.
have to be able to put on the image of somebody that's hireable or that wants to be able to be counted on and trusted. Otherwise, it's so easy to fall into debauchery in your
Hmm.
depression and find that you begin to look the part. And then you're a hopeless wreck.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm going to go, and I do want to tell everybody that the number to call in for a reading, if you should so desire, is 602 666
Hmm.
6027. We are having some wind, big wins, and where Bill, the engineer guy, the owner of the station, is having blizzards. So if we go out all of a sudden, we'll just wish you goodbye, but we'll hope that we can hang on here. And if we're fuzzy and the picture goes in and out, blame it on those spring winds. So I'm not sure why I have error contacting service, and I have one person in the room that I see, but that's in the in quick. And remember, guys, you don't have to call. You can in quick your question, and Joe and I will answer it as well. Let's
Yeah, you
start
don't really
out with
have to.
Kathy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Okay,
Kathy.
start out with Kathy from Canada. Hey, Kathy.
Wow, Canada.
Hey, Kathy.
Oh, hi. I
Kathy.
can just barely
I've been
hear
to
you.
Canada once.
There you are. Hello, Kathy. How are you?
Oh, I'm okay, I guess.
Well, you don't sound like you're thrilled about it.
Yes, she sounds
No,
very thrilled.
uh, yeah, I'm going through kind of a rough patch.
I'm sorry.
I had, yeah, I lost my job and I'm, the primary breadwinner and I'm just wondering what's going to happen if I should be going out
Kathy,
on my own.
let's just have a look see at Kathy's cards. Oh, well, let's see here. Um, it'd be nice if I put my glasses on so I could see what I'm doing and look at
Oh,
my
let's see here.
symbols.
Means let's see. Period. I
Yeah.
guess.
Well, I'm seeing the Hierophant uh, for the present day, for the current feeling, and what I'm seeing here is that I'm seeing that you're the type of person that would really be well suited for like a career, like say, like an education, or medicine, or possibly even something maybe faith oriented. You might have even had a job like that, something like that. I know that there is teamwork necessary, and I'm seeing that that's where you're going to go again. Um, Although I will say that you know, it might not be the ideal job coming. I'm seeing that maybe there might be something having to do time-wise with fives, maybe over the next 5 weeks. Hopefully, that would be best. Um, I do see that um, you might even be considering some underhanded methods out of sometimes those things crawl through our minds when we're in a desperate situation and when we're worried. And I just wanted to remind you is that really do keep everything honest and don't let desperation make you do something that you shouldn't do.
No,
Okay, because
no, I
it
Don't
won't.
won't
rob
work.
any banks, Kathy.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
but also don't
No.
like there's also an I don't mean like criminal. I mean like really
I'm just kidding.
underhanded. Okay, underhanded, not
Yeah.
really. I don't see a criminal element in there at all. And anyway, but I'm just saying that you're going to have some obstacles, and but I do see that um, you're going to find something in possibly 5 weeks. In it may be I hate to say it, but maybe like not until 5 months. But spring is coming, so I'm hoping it's 5 weeks for you because spring is the time when people are doing the most hiring. And you may want to consider an educational institution of some kind, like a junior college, something you might not have thought of before, because even if you're not a teacher, there are still many positions that they need people for in these places. Okay,
Okay.
so that's what I'm seeing. I am seeing some hope coming down the line.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Okay, maybe Anne Marie can even give us more. What do you think, Anne Marie?
Well, Kathy, I'm going to touch on something that you can yell at me or whatever you want. One of the things that's coming up is some trust issues, and I'm not sure whether that's relevant to what Joseph was seeing. And it says in the past job, there was a sense that you felt like you never got a real break, and the feeling is
Yeah.
that absolutely that you are capable of doing a great job. There's a sense
Mhm.
that you need to perk up your energy. Remember when we were talking about how sometimes you have to fake it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it ain't
My
easy.
Yeah.
feeling my feeling is that you've been wearing your internal struggle on your
Mhm.
face. And for
Okay.
whatever reason, you need to try to uh, wear brighter colors or do something that makes you believe in yourself that things are going to get better. Because what I see, Kathy, is that for whatever reason, you've lost some faith in yourself and you need to try to get it back. So when I look at how do you do that and looking at what, first of all, please know that this is all relevant to getting a job. And it says the most
Mhm.
important thing you can do right now is pick up your self worth. Understand that if there is something about you that has brought your self esteem down, 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 you have to acknowledge that and reboot. And that's kind of the theme of the show is how to reboot yourself. My feeling
Okay.
is that once you can get over whatever it is that's dragged your self-esteem down, you're going to find that you pick yourself up, you have more focus, you feel more empowered. So I don't know what it is that you're fighting with about yourself, but I think that there is something you need to work on while you have your time off. And if it's got to do with more exercise or losing weight, or if it's got to do with something to get yourself back on track and have pride and confidence in yourself, this is the time to do it while you're not employed. And I know how hard it is. I was a single mom for years, and I understand the amazing importance if you're the only bread maker or breadwinner to have that job.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
I will say there is something coming. And if I look at when does it look like you could have a job, and then I'll hand it over to Joseph again. And
Okay, you
I'm
know what it
looking at
is? I
what?
want to emphasize something about the Five of Wands in your near future, is that you're going to have competition, but
Mhm.
if you play fair and if you maintain your integrity, and because the Five of Wands depicts a young man fighting off a bunch of rough guys, and he's fighting off with wands, and actually it is a victorious card. I mean, you will prevail. And actually, anybody, and it's also a card that's letting you know that anybody who's going to use an underhanded means to get over you, over your head, and grab something from you, they're not going to stay. So I'm seeing that you might actually be passed over for a job, but I would say they're going to be calling you back because they're not going to be happy with the person that they picked. Okay, so that's the sort of thing that happens with these kinds of cards, is when your integrity and your hard work is going to be noticed. It's going to show on you. People can tell if just by meeting people. They can tell by the vibe. And Anne Marie, I agree with her. Correct. Keep up your sharpness. And I keep thinking, look sharp. Keep your lines clean. You know, be you know be together, because actually you do have strengths, you're not using them, and you don't feel like you have any, and that's understandable, but they are there, and I do see you using them in the near future, and I see you sticking to your integrity, and I do see you going out for these jobs, and yeah, there's competition, but I see you getting something. Okay, really.
Okay.
I'm going to do a little angel reading here. Um,
Okay.
so the first thing, and this is about your blessings and gifts. It says you do have a wonderful ability when you truly want something to get it. That means that you do have the ability to manifest into your life what you want. Your reading also says that for the most part, yes, you've had some doubts lately, but you're very good at being everybody else's cheerleader. You can promote everybody, you can support everybody, you can stand up for everybody, but now it's time to do it for you. Your reading says that you're a peaceful person, and that peaceful side of yourself is exactly what is your nurturing side, and what maybe you should be getting into while you're waiting for a job is doing anything you can to contribute your services, because even if you can put on a job resume that you were doing something, contributing service somewhere, anything that makes you look like you have been trying. Your reading
Okay.
says also that you have this way of bringing the people full of tragedy and sorrow, and you have a way of calming them. And lastly, I'm shown you're a great mother, wife, sister, and daughter. You're somebody that takes the nurturing part of your life extremely seriously, and you're a natural therapist. You're a natural healer. So why not use this time to be able to fix that, to be able to
Hmm.
get that on track again?
Okay.
Yeah. And it's funny. I know when I was unemployed, I had 30 years of experience of working with libraries. I was a librarian, and I also was a district library worker for an elementary school district for many, many years. So I'm like Mr. Research, and I love library work, and I love books and everything about it and all the mediums. But when I was unemployed, nobody was impressed with that. I mean, people said, why don't you get a job at Arby's or something? Well, Arby's took one look at my 30 years of experience in the office and libraries, and they just about practically laughed me out of there.
You're
But
overqualified, right?
right, you know what? Well, it's like, qualified, but not anything they wanted. So that's the
Yeah.
problem. So the thing is, people always said, well, geez, Wendy's is hiring. How about something up my alley? Like clerical, maybe, perhaps. But you know what? So as the time goes on, it looked worse and worse. The longer it goes on, it gets worse and worse. I mean, you appear worse and worse if you're unemployed for a long period of time. And I realized I am working all the time. I mean, I had agreed to edit a manuscript for an acquaintance, which I got paid for. And so I put down that I am editing a manuscript. I have writing experience, and I also am taking care of a friend who has COPD. I do cooking, I clean the house, I wash the dogs, I process his bills for him. He's a friend of mine. He's a good friend.
Would that
And
make
I'm
you a Manny?
not really a nanny, but I'd
No,
say
I said a Manny.
providing some assist I mean, not assist like I'm not, helping people go to the bathroom, but I am doing things in a home that actually could be something that, it's skills I learned in my job. I was processing his bills, I was doing his checks and everything. And I was doing a whole bunch of things I don't usually do. I mean, like I can cook. I'm not a gourmet, but I know how to cook because I taught myself when I first moved out of my house 30 years ago. And I used those skills, and I also did gardening and helped, assisted, and all sorts of things. And all those are things I put on my resume, and I even had him down as a reference, a current reference. So it showed that I had gone from one situation to another, and I wasn't just sitting there with my thumb up my nose. I was actually doing something. And I know people say, have a creative outlet. Well, I've always had creative outlets. That didn't get me a job. I mean, it really didn't. But it did keep my sanity, because I still did my creativity. It was all inexpensive things like writing, you know, and luckily I was able to stay alive until I could retire because I did have a pension waiting for me. I just didn't want to have to start collecting it so soon. But I discovered in this world, I don't think anyone's going to hire me personally ever again. You know, um, Simply because of those. You know,
In
it's
other words,
simply
so
because
keep busy. So
yeah,
keep
keep
busy.
busy. All those things are important. And all of those things will show that you are still active and that you're still together. And that's very appealing. And actually, you have to realize your own skills. A lot of times we forget that we have these skills, we take it for granted. Really, look at what you used to do. And this is all stuff that So think about this every time you tell yourself, I know my shit, man. I really do. And
And
I'm going
that's
to do
what it said
this.
about every time you
Yeah.
go in a mirror, look in the mirror, say, I am very good at whatever it is. But it also said there are some self esteem issues,
Hmm.
Kathy, and to work on those self esteem issues while you are now unemployed. And my feeling is that you will get back on track. So we got to get to Marie from Pennsylvania. So thank you
Good luck,
very,
Kathy.
very much, Kathy.
Thanks. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
I think it'll be
Hey,
all right.
Marie. Oh, yeah.
Uh, Hi, I really do fit in with the theme of the show.
Oh,
I
no,
was
another
listening to all
one.
that too.
Oh, Marie, I'm so
What
sorry.
did you say?
I said I really do fit into the theme of the show. A little bit
Oh,
different, but
dear.
I'm I'm not desperate for a job, but I sure would like a career or something useful to do, or just to, I don't know. I shouldn't have said anything. I should have just said, what information do you have for me
Oh,
that
that's okay.
next steps kind of thing.
That's all right.
What
Let's
what are
just
you
see.
good at? What are you good at, Marie? What's your passion?
Yeah, that's yeah. Well, if I knew, I would be there. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. There's those books, work on it, witchcraft, and all that. Yeah.
Hmm. Well, no, I've seen that currently in you have some obstacles, and it just seems like there's stuff in your way, and maybe it's the indecision, or just not knowing. But I'm seeing that right now you're like really exhausted with trying things. And that's not just simply from what you told me, because I got the 9 of Wands and it's upside down, and it shows somebody just being really. It just seems impossible to really achieve what you want because you're not really quite sure what it is that you want.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, it could be. I'm seeing here. What we have here is the 8 of Cups in the near future, and that is an advice. It seems like it's telling you that you need to take action. It seems like maybe you've even had quite a few little ideas that you'd like to do, but you didn't think it was realistic or something, and you didn't
Yeah.
bother pursuing it because maybe someone said, "Are you kidding me? You're not going to be able to do that." Just like when I I was working on a book years ago, and a friend of mine kept saying, "Oh, why are you doing that? Just face the fact. You're nothing but a clerk, and you always will be a clerk, and that's it. Why do
Ah,
you waste your time writing?" And I thought, wow, you just don't want me to do this, do you? Well, I'm going to do it anyway. And I did. And even if
and
it
you did it
stunk, I
spite
still
him.
did it. Well, even if it stinks, I do it anyway. I mean, I'm going to publish it. I published it. Somebody bought it. The
Yay!
thing is,
Yay!
well, I know at least 30 people have read that book, okay, in the last 6 years, and I get a royalty check of about $15 to $7 every year, maybe, because maybe 3 more people bought that book. But you know
Awesome.
what? I did it, and I'm going to keep doing it. And you should do that too. I mean, it's just something that I'm seeing stuff that you just kind of let go because maybe you didn't feel it was plausible. But I'd say start working on it. I'm seeing this card here, and it's saying take some action. Um, take some action. Uh, Really, just sometimes it doesn't even seem like you want to do it. It's like try it. And if you're not sure, and if you want to go creative, it wouldn't hurt to take a course. And I don't mean like a course where it's a heavy duty credit course, but a lot of times colleges and stuff have these little satellite classes that are closer. If the university's too far, sometimes we have that out here too. And a couple of friends of mine decided to take some gardening classes because they really wanted to know how to grow certain things. I mean, a friend of mine really wants to grow yellow button mushrooms. And I suppose, I've
Oh,
never
that'd be
had them.
cool.
Yeah. They're not the ones that make you, goofy, but they're supposed to be delicious. And I thought, great, because I tried to cultivate that. I thought it would be a cool thing to do to grow food in my basement like that. Um, but I was never able to make it work. But I thought I needed a class in it, really. But actually, there's a lot of things. I mean, there's so many things. But I am seeing that you are being urged to take action. It's like they're saying, well, do it. Do this. And even if you're not sure about it, you're not going to know for sure until you start working on it. That's what I'm
Kathy,
seeing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kathy, I am shown that you sold yourself short. I'm
Hmm.
shown that you have
Probably.
this amazing ability to you're like the Napoleon that can stay calm in the worst disaster.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm shown also that you have incredible courage. You're the person that no matter how much you're rejected by people, you just are so darn bullheaded, you just still go forward with things.
Hmm.
I'm shown also that you can be very magnetic and very contagious, meaning that you attract and magnetize people to you. But somewhere along the way, you decided you didn't need people anymore. And somewhere along the way, you sold yourself short. It's like you're an executive that isn't being an executive.
Hmm.
It's like you're a mega dollar paycheck that decided to go do something less. So you have all these amazing qualities about you, between your calm, your empowerment, your magnetism. And I would say, hell yeah, go take a course or do something that you can use
Hmm.
those qualities, because it's to sell yourself short. It's just a freaking shame, because it seems that you have some things that really
Hmm.
can grow, and creative gifts about yourself that need to be expanded on. And I don't care how old or young you are, you need to do it.
Um, yeah, and I'm seeing that it might have been easier at one time because there's a man, or I don't know if he's still there, but I'm seeing that he's an influence. But he's somebody that likes to get stuff started, and maybe since I don't know if he's departed or left, or if it was just one of those friendships that, if he's still there, but I'm seeing that this was the person that was the one that had lots of nervous energy and liked constant change, and also was very excited about doing new things and getting projects started. So I don't know where he fits in, but I'm seeing him in your recent past or as an influence in your current. Like maybe he's the one that wants to say, "Come
Yeah.
on, let's do something," and you're like, I don't know, So I don't know what's going on there, but I do see that there's a guy in here.
Yeah.
Am I right
That
about
That's
sounds
that?
about
interesting
right.
you
Is
said
that
that,
my
because I come up
Huh?
with a
yeah,
twin
that's my husband.
flame.
Yeah. You're not
Okay.
alone. I
Is he
know that.
here?
And
Well,
yeah.
I did have a husband, and he left 6 years ago, and I do have a boyfriend right now, but I'm never
Okay.
quite sure is that going to work or not. And yeah.
Okay, he's the one that seems to have the nervous energy, although he's really good at starting projects. It's just that with him, he's impatient. It's like, oh, it's not happening fast enough. Let's do something else. you know.
ADD, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Which one did you say? What
I
was
was
it?
like the
The
current
boyfriend
one
or the?
seems to be impatient. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
fun,
Okay.
but impatient. I mean, the card shows that this is a good-looking guy because it's the Knight of Wands, So this is not a lazy person at all.
Right. Well,
But
he's
it
of the
also
Mars.
shows that
Yeah.
I love I've seen many interpretations of this card, and they always say this is a seductive and sexy individual. It's like, oh, really? But that could mean a lot of things. People can have this way about them.
If it weren't for the fact he's so full of himself.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it's kind of hard not to be, I suppose. Once you know you have it, and you're always told you're cute or something, you're going to start believing it, and the head gets really big.
Mm. That
but
also still fits both of them.
but he seems like an okay person, though. Really, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't see anything bad here. I mean, he's a very positive sort, and I love the depiction is a man on a horse holding a rod. It's a knight, but it looks very sunny, and
That can also mean to me someone of artistic personality, a poetic
uh,
person.
and rods are work. Yeah.
Sometimes somebody that even lives in the world of dreams.
Hmm.
To me, it's good looking person, but it's also somebody that tends to never grow up, and
Hmm.
somebody that will always see themselves as good looking, even if their stomach gets 1,000 foot wide, and somebody that will always tends to see euphoria. Oh, cat fight in the background there. Euphoria, even when there's crap going on. So that's does that ring a bell at all?
Yeah, I'm seeing a fun sort of a type, but yeah, somebody that always seems to be able to add a bit of lightness to a situation. Sometimes by making a funny remark at an inappropriate time, sometimes it's just the perfect thing to do.
However,
Yeah. It could be.
Mhm.
Maria is seen as empowered and charismatic, and
Yeah.
somebody that you probably took on a nurturing situation here, and your powerful, charismatic personality that's seen as selling yourself short may feel at times, wow, I had so much to offer. So my
Yeah.
feeling is that you are sometimes kicking yourself in the butt that perhaps um, you can and you will and you should never blame your dysfunctions or your inability to achieve success on someone else, because it's never too late, Kathy or
Yeah.
Marie, excuse me, and continue to do what Joseph said.
And actually,
Find something that you can expand on.
some of these projects that this guy wants to do, yeah, it might not hurt to, see if you can work on something together if he's still around, and if you like his company, it might actually be a lot of fun, and it might actually take off in a direction that you might not have expected. Sometimes things that start out being for fun become profitable
Ne-
without even
Neither,
intending on it.
neither my boyfriend or my husband have projects that are set up to invite me or include me in.
Ah, that's too bad.
But there is another man where there's a possibility in the future of some
Okay.
sort of project. But I haven't, that hasn't solidified or anything. I don't know if
Oh,
anything will come of
well,
that.
things keep a change, and you never
It
know.
sounds like whatever, whoever, you've got a lot to look forward to. Just don't sell
Yeah,
yourself short.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay?
Yeah, I just, yeah. No, thank you. Okay. Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
great.
Good luck
Thank
there.
you.
Hey,
Yeah.
thanks
All
for being
right.
a part of our show, Marie.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye. Okay, we've got we've only got 4 minutes left. We have
Yikes.
one in quick from Mara, who says, I
Mara.
recently applied for a job for a live in caregiver, and I'm interested in if you see me getting this job. So that's a lightning reading there, lightning
A
rod
lightning
reading.
one.
And so I'm going to answer that as fast as I can. And if I look at,
Yeah.
will you get the job as a caregiver? And what comes through is yes, I see you will.
Yeah. I'm seeing it in the form of the Page of Pentacles. I'm seeing that you might be caring for somebody who's not that old, it looks like, and I'm seeing a male. I don't know. Maybe that's coming down the road after you get more experience, but I do see that that the care is being given. I see it working out. I see you getting it. Yeah, you're perfect for it, actually. Yeah,
I see it as perfect for Mara as well. And
yeah,
it will go well for you, Mara. So thank you
yes,
very much. And
uh,
we appreciate that. I want to kind of bring things to full circle again. Today, our show has been about people that have perhaps need to reboot their life in some way. Joseph has also mentioned today that the last thing you want to do is tell someone, how can I help, and then not help. Or expect them to reach out. Instead, go to them. And what else can you think of to capsize this show?
why don't we do that little exercise about how we start each day?
Okay, 2 minutes.
Stand before the mirror. Standing before the mirror. It doesn't matter what time of day. Okay? Stand before the mirror, have your arms with your feet firm on the ground, head up high, look at yourself in the mirror, and you say, you're taking a breath. I bring the cosmic forces into my body, asking for strength, protection, and guidance. I bring the cosmic forces into my body, asking for strength, protection, and guidance. I bring the cosmic forces into my body, asking for strength, protection, and guidance. And then you cross your arms in an ancient way and you say, thank you, thank you,
I like
thank
it.
you.
Well, we didn't discuss our Easter recipes
Make a
today, so
quiche.
I will. You send me your recipe, Joseph, and I'll put it on our blog.
Okay, I like quiche for breakfast on holidays. It's
I
very
love. Is
simple
that the
because
spinach
everybody's
quiche?
running around. Yeah, just traditional quiche, a quiche Lorraine,
I've never
or
made a quiche. It sounds so difficult.
oh, it's not. It sounds difficult, but it's really easy. It's just egg and cream and cheese. It's Swiss cheese, and actually you can make it any way you want. I make spinach quiche with leftover trout. and some artichokes and some mushrooms. You chop it all up. Make sure all that stuff you're putting in is cooked, except for the spinach, okay? Put the spinach on the bottoms because it's the puffiest. And then
And then,
after you have it all in your pie crust, okay, you have to make a pie crust. And when it's all in the pie crust, you mix up your 4 eggs and your 2 cups of half and half. Okay, and you very carefully, slowly pour it over the ingredients in the pie shell. Do it slowly because it takes a while for it to trickle down. And if you do it too fast, it's going to overflow and you're going to have a big mess. And then you carefully, now your cheese is mixed in with all that stuff too. Make
I'll have
sure
to
it's
put it
all,
down on our blog then,
yeah,
Joseph, because we got 21 seconds and I don't want you to cough.
there we go.
And
But I
so
mean, I
I
like
will
it. It
put
works
my
great. I love
cocktail,
quiche.
my French 71 cocktail with herbs. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Psychic radio, holistic radio, spiritual radio. This is achieveradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/achieveradio.
Hi, I'm Anne-Marie Odell at Achieve Radio's Tarot Joy. Come on upstairs. Grab yourself a tapestried pillow and get a down-home, honest reading with 30 years Master Tarot channeling experience. In addition, I will have a weekly spiritual guest from around the world. That's 2 readings per call for you. After the show, I invite you to come on over to thecallingoflight.com. I offer PayPal readings at 15-minute or 30-minute sections of time. All yours. To thecallingoflight.com.